All right, before I begin, thanks to commenter Chaos Ordeal 234 who recommended this one to me on my Twilight Imperium review. Nexus Ops is one of the few games that aims to capture a pretty unique niche. Games designed to be played under a UV blacklight. Nexus Ops 2024 3rd edition, as reviewed here from publisher Renegade, is a dudes on a map combat and area control game with secret cards and missions to drive scoring, as well as a King of the Hill style fight in the middle. Games last about 90 minutes normally, and it's for 2 to 4 players, but definitely better at higher player counts. The game is played on a randomized hex tile map consisting of 5 terrain types: rocks, crystal spires, fungal forests, lava, and that special elevated center hex. Also randomized is the position of these rubium mines, which is where the game's currency comes from, allowing you to buy more units. Each player has 6 different unit types to deploy. The first 3, the smaller units, are able to mine for rubium to generate that currency, but they're not so strong at fighting. The latter 3 can't mine, but they can take that central spire to dominate the map. The unit types are pretty easy to distinguish though through both shape and size. Humans being the smallest, then the fungus dudes, the crystalline aliens, the spiders, the lava jumpers, and finally a dragon. Humans are weak, squishy, and cheap, and they can't even enter lava hexes because they'll burn. Fungal folk are stronger in the fungus forests and weaker on crystal spires. The opposite is true of the crystal people. Larger units have some more specialised rules around movement, bonuses, and that sort of thing. The dragon also has a ranged split attack, but it's all pretty easy to understand and it really won't take you long to teach the game. So on your turn, you will first deploy troops to your home hexes by paying the relevant rubium cost to buy them. Then you can move everyone around if you want. You can explore any undiscovered areas which you've found, which may in turn reveal free units or mines, or both. You can then fight on any contested spaces, mine for more rubium, and then draw a card. If you own that central spire, you'll also get 2 energize bonus cards, which might be anything from a small combat benefit, or some more money, or a movement bonus, or a free unit. So let's talk about combat. If more than one player has units in a hex, that space is considered to be contested and a fight will occur. Combat happens in order of largest to smallest units, so any dragons first, then lava leapers, then spiders, etc. All units of the same type fight simultaneously, so if both of you have a dragon, you'd both roll at the same time and the outcomes would both happen simultaneously. So yes, potentially you could both obliterate each other. You roll a dice for each unit of that type that you have, and any successes kills an opponent's unit and vice versa. There's no defense rolls, there's no damage. 1 hit is 1 kill. Your opponent chooses which unit to kill though, and then at the end of the combat, if it was your turn and you won the battle by decimating the opponents and destroying all their units, you can get 1 point for winning that battle. Or, alternatively, you can play one of your secret mission cards that might be worth more points. You can also enhance your victory with other secret missions, but you can only play 1 red point card and then any number of white point ones. So these are the same basic thing, it's just that the red points are the main victory in battle, while the white ones are more along the lines of for instance, you won the battle with a human on your side, or you started the battle and won it with just a spider. The loser of the battle, assuming it wasn't their turn, gets a consolation prize of 1 bonus card. But to be clear, if you win a battle that someone else initiated, i.e. it wasn't your turn, you were just playing as the defender, you don't get a victory point, nor do they get a loser card. You can only get victory points on your turn when you initiate battle, and they can only get consolation prizes when it's not their turn for losing a battle. The first to 12 points wins, and that's pretty much all there is to the basic game. I say basic because there's a selection of additional rules and alternative unit profiles on the opposite side of this reference card, but those are optional and for advanced players only. So, what's my verdict? Aesthetics first. I mean, clearly we have to talk about this. The blacklight factor is unbelievably cool. This game is meant to be played under UV. If you have a modern LED color changing light, the purple or dark blue will also have a similar effect. The only thing I will say is that it's a shame they didn't go more in with some UV-reactive printing on the tiles themselves. The cards, they're on white, and the units are easy to see, they're all fluorescent, but the hex tiles can be a bit tricky. So I'm tempted to actually add a little layer of some sort of UV acrylic paint to those to help identify them, because it can be a bit hard with just the black light. The units themselves are pretty basic designs, almost sort of comical in a way. I don't think this is a game that takes itself too seriously, but they're easy to use and understand. The cards are also good. They're easy to understand with little wiggle room for interpretation, I think. So what's great about Nexus Ops, aesthetics aside? It's quick, it's easy, but it still has great table presence. There is a surprising amount of strategic depth to master though, and avenues to explore. In my most recent game, I had a fairly bad start, nothing scoring, no battles won, and basically a stalemate on my borders. Slowly though, I amassed secret mission cards and spotted an opportunity to run in and win 2 hexes that were worthless, basically no mines or anything, not really defended, but I did so in such a way that I scored a total of 5 victory points with 2 sacrificial units. So the points were along the lines of sort of kill a fungoid in battle, and then claim more forest and more rock places, and win a battle with a spider, that sort of thing. So these power move plays can really bring a lagging player back into the game if you strategize and plan effectively. I think it has longevity as well, if only because of the alternative rules you can add, such as getting rid of the King of the Hill mechanic and turning it into a whirlwind that effectively swoops people up and deposits them randomly. The alternate unit profiles feel a little too complex for my comfort, but there's a whole bunch of other optional rules to explore. What's not so great then? The base game can get a bit samey. You'll probably explore the optional rules after 10 plays or so. There is a lot of potential for king-making. I don't mind this so much. If you're clearly strong enough to win every game, then maybe you do need a challenge like that, but I know it can be controversial. It also feels like one of those games where things can become inevitable at some point. Perhaps 2 rounds before the end of the game, if you don't have that many mines in your zone to begin with, you're down on units, then you're basically down and out. And there's not much you can do to stem the tide of an advancing player who has twice as much money as you every single turn, already more units, and controls the middle monolith. Or for instance, if someone has taken the monolith with a dragon, no one else has any significant threat to them in range, and they're 1 point away from victory, well, on their turn they can just jump from the center to any hex that's pretty much undefended except for a single human unit and basically win the battle by default. It can also feel quite swingy as well with those d6 rolls. On the other hand, it can lead to some hilarious outcomes with one human who hits on a 6, destroying a dragon who had a critical miss on a 1. If you don't like luck and want things to be a purely numbers game, then this won't be for you. Those bonus cards can also be really powerful, and there's some curious point scoring. For instance, in a 2-player game, my son took an early point for a secret mission of control more rock hexes. Because it was literally the first turn, and he had moved a single unit onto a rock spire, and then drawn dominate the plains at the end of the round. And the rules as written say you can play it immediately, and of course he had 1 more hex than me because I hadn't had a chance to do anything yet. Now to me that's a bit ridiculous, so I would house rule that out. But raw, it seems to be correct. In another game, I won with 4 points for winning a battle by jumping 2 dragons to their fairly unprotected home base. Unless they were forewarned it was going to happen, it really wouldn't have been predictable. 4 points just for that. Which seems like a bit of a cheap way to win, but hey, I won. Lastly, I never really got the feeling of something epic going on. I guess it's just a matter of scale, really. The board isn't huge, it plays quite quickly, and it's really just a small skirmish that probably plays out 100 times on a planetary scale, but because of that, you don't get that epic feeling of something like Scythe or Rising Sun. It is just fundamentally small. Maybe that's a plus for you. Overall verdict? I mean, I really enjoy it. I do happen to be one of those few people that actually owns a blacklight, though, for annual Halloween parties, so I can ensure that it has the best table presence possible. For obvious reasons, we don't always have the time for an 8-hour game, and this scratches a nice itch, even given the downsides that I mentioned. It's easy to pick up, hard to master, which for me is exactly what a game should be, so it's definitely one I'll be keeping around in regular rotation. That's it from me. Hit like if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing for more reviews, playthroughs, and more from myself and my wife at tabletopdungeon.com. Hit me up in the comments if you have any feedback or questions about the game. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.